Hey, welcome everyone. This is Joshua. Hey, how's it going? Well, today, I have this idea as in my everydays how to become the best version of yourself. In this case, how to become the best version of myself. Those little changes in our life, that is what determine the success. This is what I think about this, right? I mean, everyone we have a different point of view, but what I can see with other people's is big changes comes from those small changes in your life. Probably wake up 20, 30 minutes before as usual. It is gonna determine how you're gonna start your day, because probably you're gonna use those 20, 30 minutes, right? Maybe you can pray, maybe you can meditate, right? Meditation. You can set up a different mindset for yourself. What are you gonna do in a day or during the day, or what will be the project? How are you gonna deliver yourself through the day? Probably that small changes it can make an impact on your daily day. And this is actually what I think about this. I am totally agree or not. Yeah, I'm agree with that, right? Definitely, I think so. So remember when I was I'm sorry, I apologize in advance because this is not my first language, of course not. I mean, this is part of my training because I want to increase my vocabulary, but how are you gonna do that if I don't speak with friends, with people outside? I mean, here in Mexico, we speak Spanish, so there's no such a way to practice to to put the second language on a work, right? So, anyways, so if I say something which is not like the correct option, the correct way, the grammar, the speaking, something like that, right? Sorry about that. So this is part of my training. So, anyways, so let's go ahead and move on, right? Oh my goodness, what's going on? I don't know. Okay, so I say that big changes are part of small changes. Those small changes that you put in your life, like we say, like wake up 20, 30 minutes before as usual. So it's going to create a new version of yourself. But if you add another thing instead, like, I don't know, maybe like getting breakfast, cereal with milk, or chocolate, something like that. Many people actually get the breakfast with the guajolota. Guajolota here in Mexico is a tamal inside a piece of bread with guajolota combo. It also comes with a chocolate. So anyways, what about if you change that part and instead breakfast for guajolota, now you change something healthy? That is part of those small changes that you can do, right? In order for you to become the best version of yourself. So probably change that part instead to getting fat, right? So now you're gonna think that, hey, I'm gonna eat healthier, and also I'm going to do some exercise before I go to work. So I'm not for example, like a person who makes an exercise in my everyday. But if I want to make those changes, of course, it's going to be a good idea to implement that part in my routine. Do you know what I mean? Also, getting new skills, right? Every day, I mean, we have about 24 hours a day. So what are you doing with that time? Uh, like many people say, hey, Joshua, I work, I don't know, like 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a day. I don't have energy. I don't have the power. You know what I'm talking about, right? All I want after I do my work is just to have a break. And that is, I mean, totally understandable, right? I do understand that part. I mean, it also happens to me. But you know what? We don't have the, I don't know how to explain this, the circumstances to stop in the middle of this and say, hey, I don't have a house, I rent, I don't have a vehicle, I don't have money in my bank account. We have a lot of things that we need to fight against the circumstances where we born. And there's no such a thing that we can say, I don't want to do that, right? So we need to find out the best options, of course. I mean, probably I'm working like 8, 10, 12 hours a day. I'm not happy. I'm just like exhausted. I need to rest, of course, right? But beyond the part, just in the nighttime, just go to sleep. So what about if you cut instead to working like 12 hours, you can say, hey, I'm gonna work 10 hours a day. I don't know your business, right? What are you doing for living? I don't know. But what about that option, right? You cut the working hours is 2 hours. In those 2 hours, you can get a new training, a new sessions, how you can move from point A to point B, and how to become the best version of yourself, right? So is making those small changes on your life, of course, is going to impact positive in your life, but not just for you, but also for people who is actually surround you. Maybe your wife, your kids, I mean, your neighborhood. I don't know. I mean, we have a plenty of in our life that we can positive impact. So, anyways, I'm not talking about like rocket science. This is something that everyone can do, right? As we mentioned probably in a previous podcast. I mean, waking up 20, 30 minutes in the morning before as usual, right? You say like, hey, usually I wake up at the 6 in the morning. So, but what about if I wake up, at 5:40, 5:45? So those 15 minutes probably you can use for doing something different. Many people pray, make meditations. I mean, set up what I'm gonna do for today. 15 minutes just to think about how I can change myself to become the best version of myself today, right? I'm not talking about like tomorrow. I'm not talking about to become a millionaire at this moment, but in long term, probably this is going to impact, right? To improve your salary, your income, of course. That's part of the reason I'm trying to figure out how those small changes can impact positive in our life, and definitely it can be done. I don't know. We can set up a project so we can work on for the next 30 days. So in those small changes, right? Probably wake up like 20, 15 minutes in the morning before as usual, but also changing the breakfast, right? A healthy breakfast, so to make you feel something like different, not too heavy. But what about like 5, 10 minutes of exercise before you start your your work. I don't know what your business is. I mean, whatever you do, if you do like at the office or at the workshop, I don't know, but just implement that 10, 50, 5, 10 minutes of exercise yourself. Like, small things can make the difference. Small changes are part of the big change. I don't know. Maybe if you are really exhausted at the end of the day, so what about if you share, I don't know, maybe like 5, 10 minutes, doing something different with your family. That can make also the another changes, right? So today I want to, you know, I'm watching that way because I have a television on, you know, and that's part of my training because I don't need to focus right in here with you guys, looking at your eyes, oh my goodness, no. I mean, at the same time, I'm looking and listening something else. I need to figure out what would be the next what I'm gonna say with you guys. So that is a good training. So please do that. It is this is what I'm doing to try to make a change in my thoughts, right? So anyways, I'm doing this just for myself, as I mentioned. I'm not looking for subscribers, right? It's people that subscribe on your channel. No, I'm not looking for that. I mean, this is not a business, of course not. Let me touch the screen because I got a pop-up here saying something. I'm gonna fix it later, but not now. But I need to touch the screen, otherwise it's gonna be blank, and that is a problem. So anyways, how are you doing today? So are you feeling happy? Are you feeling good? Are you comfortable with your life? I mean, are you doing exercise? I don't like to exercise in the gym, right? As many people does, right? In the nighttime, in the morning. I don't like that way. So I believe I really enjoy here, so doing exercise here at home. I'm not that kind of people like lifting weight and like big chingaderas here. Like, no, I don't like that way. Just like maybe jumping, stretching something, a little bit, my arms, my legs, and that's it, right? I don't like to play the soccer, like sports. Also, what I really like is watch television, video tutorials, I really enjoy talking to myself. And most part of the time I'm talking to myself. It's not because I'm alone. I don't have friends. Of course, I have many friends. But talking to myself is something different. It's more than like a therapy. I mean, no. This is the way I am. I like to speak to myself and share those, I don't know, like thoughts, maybe like share those ideas, right? That becomes to my mind. And I say, hey, Joshua, why not? I mean, that could be a great idea, right? So, for example, this, Joshua, and now if you're already talking to yourselves, what about if you use a microphone and, plug the microphone into the smartphone and you can record the session and you can share, I mean, that is part of my life, my everydays. And that's the reason, that's something that I really enjoy. So most of my life has been like this way. Since I remember when I was a child, I'm always talk to myself and say, Joshua, what are you gonna do today? And I say, I don't know, probably just go to school and do something at school, you know. And I say, okay, go to school, but don't get into much trouble. Don't fight with others, with your friends. Try to do your homework. Try to put attention what the teacher says, and try to enjoy your day. And this is what talk to myself. I say that way, and that's the way I just make a plan. Joshua, for example, I don't know, it's Friday, so what is the plan? And I say, I don't know. You tell me. And I say, well, it's I don't know, a sunny day, it's a beautiful day. What about if go to beach tomorrow, Saturday, and you can, like say to your friends, hey, let's go to the beach and enjoy the day. Because where I come from, there's there's a river, there's a beach, So anyways, so always making plans with myself. I believe that is a good idea. It's not because I don't have a friends, it's because that's the way I born. So I have that particular, and now I just realized that I become my own coach, right? Because I'm always, inquiring to me, so what will be the next step? So this is something I want to share with you guys, right? I mean, don't put much attention on that, right? Because I'm trying to say something. You remember, this is my training. I want to become coach of life, minimalist coaching. I want to help others. But also, I don't know, I would like to do this in English. Do you remember why I don't speak Spanish? Because my Spanish is very corrupted. In Spanish, I cannot say like small sentences without a bad word. La chingadera, tu madre, todo eso. Entonces, so in order for me to change my reality, right, part of my making the best version or the new version of myself is just to switching to English. But I don't know how to speak English. I don't know how to pronounce. I don't know how to say that. I have small ideas, but I believe if we can change our reality in the way that we make those perceptions in our head, I mean, in the brain is going to build the new network, with the neurons. You say, is that okay? Neuronas, and that's going to make a new freeways, highways to get the best idea that you want to transmit or you want to deliver. I don't know many grammars. I don't know many vocabulary, right? I don't know how to say that. But what I'm doing is just to force my brain to strength in order for me to pick up those ideas and find the way to deliver the message. I know, I'm crazy. But you know what? Well, it's just for me, right, this session. I think 15, 20 minutes is good enough. And thank you so much for watching this video cast. I believe I'm going to do this like in my everydays because I want to record, right? Recording this, how to become the best version of myself, making those small changes. How do I see myself in the next 5 years? Probably I would like to become a speaker, making these presentations in front of with an audience, maybe, I don't know, with a big place, where people can pay like 20 pesos just to hear myself, my coaching of life, my my messages, right? I don't know. It's just I'm thinking about, but also, how to part of this is how it's gonna impact changing or making those small changes in my life, in my personal life, in my work, with my family, outside in the society, right, as well. So how I'm going to implement those changes in order for me to become a happier person, but also a productive person, right? And not just for me, not just for my family, but for others outside, right? Well, thank you so much. I'll see you next time. This is Joshua. It's a night time, almost time to sleep. So go ahead and get a dinner. Have a nice and wonderful day. Goodbye.